Oh, oh. All right, guys, how's it going today? We're talking how to 5 different ways to fish a tube, 5 different ways you may or may not heard of. We're going to talk about them. We're going to explain the type of conditions you might want to fish them in, the time of year, and why. So let's talk about it. Go ahead and get right down into it. The first way you can fish a jig is you can throw it out and throw it on light line, 6 to 8 pound fluorocarbon, smaller, medium-sized tubes, and you're going to go ahead and toss them out. And one of the things you want to make sure is that as they're going down, that they can free fall, and that means there's got to be some slack line. So you don't want tight line when they're free falling. On that initial drop is when you're going to get a lot of attention, and from that drop is when whether you get bit a lot, but at the same time those fish come up and they really inspect the bait. So that's when one of my favorite ways after casting it and letting it sit for a moment is to lift it up, not very fast, just lift the rod tip up, and that's basically it. Just you're gonna let that bait pick up, and then it's gonna kind of swing. It's gonna kind of do it's gonna kind of glide as it does its natural motion, which is kind of a circular motion in the water. So those tubes are really effective at getting finicky fish. They're really effective in cold water, but they're also effective in warm water. So they're kind of an all-year staple go-to bait. But the tube, comes in a variety of sizes. They got it in a 1 inch, a 2 inch, a 3 inch, a 4 inch, 5 inch, and so on. So there's a lot of variety as far as the size, the profile. There's a lot of variety as far as colors go. I'm gonna tell you guys that more natural colors work best when it comes to tubes. We're talking watermelons, watermelon red flake. We're talking black red flake, black. We're talking black and blue. We're talking natural, brown and red, brown and black, things that are very natural. So let's talk about why you might lift your rod slowly versus, say, almost a snapping that tube up. That's another option. That's another way to fish it, but that's when the water temperature is a bit warmer in the summer. Give that tube a snap and then follow it down. So snap it with your wrist, and then you're gonna follow that rod with your hand, with your wrist down. You're gonna feel that fish actually suck it in a lot of times, or you're just gonna lift up and you're gonna have one on. It's a really effective technique when these fish are extremely finicky, and there's just a great little rate of, there's a great fall from the tube that just no other bait really has that particular fall. So always gets reaction bites. Second way I really like to fish the tube is I like to drag it. So after I cast it and it does its thing, I like to drag that tube. I like to do as much dragging as I can, whether it's slowly, like in cold water, or a little bit faster in the warm water. I do like to put some pauses within, that dragging, time to time, vary the length of the pause. You get the idea. And that's going to also depend on how cold or how warm the water temperature is. It's going to be really important as to why these fish react the way they do. So the third way that we're going to talk about fishing a tube is going to be as a trailer, fishing it on the back of a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, buzz baits, all kinds of different things. They work extremely well. So as far as a trailer, it's an overlooked but very effective trailer. And as far as, the bait itself, let's talk about my fourth way to fish this bait. And the fourth way I really like to fish this bait is like to insert a rattle into a 4 to 5 inch tube. Inserting rattles can get you a lot of bites when these fish sometimes might not bite. But then again, sometimes it can do the very opposite and make fish lockjaw that would have been willing to take your presentation. There's a time and a place for it. Let me tell you when I like to use it. I like to use it especially when there's like a flood of water coming in. You know, you've got flash flood warnings. You've got a lot of rain coming in. Things are kind of coming in really fast, and you got, you know, stained water, or let's say you're just dealing with a fishery or a body of water where it's always dirty. This is the kind of thing you're going to want. You're going to want to add some kind of a rattle, some kind of a clack, some kind of a glass bead, and, you know, glass and brass type of deal. So that's another thing that I really like to do. We're going to talk about the next method, and that's going to be Texas rigging these tubes and throwing them out Texas rigged. They fish a lot differently, they fall a lot differently, and I generally like to go with lighter weights on the head, but I have gone as heavy as 3/8 ounce, and I like to go with the old bullet weight, and I'll actually put that inside the tube, and then I'll also have 2 small glass beads inside the tube. Sometimes, if I'm lazy, you can put them outside the tube, but you can actually get those inside the 4 and 5 inch tubes, and really effective way to call fish in, and especially like the conditions we were just talking. So, you know, if you're a fisherman that just loves the tube and you want to know a couple ways and a couple other ways that you can get away with using the tube, these are my most effective ways of using the tube. And from everything, you know, that I've seen, this is pretty much what you want to be doing. So time of year, temperature, type of bass, largie, spots, smallmouth, maybe you're going for peacock, you know, that kind of thing. Is little small details going to vary, but you know, hope this helps you guys catch more fish, get on more fish. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.